All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kenyatta Turner. I'm the founder and CEO of Freedom Empire Consulting, and I am here with Dr. Matthew Fenton, who works at the National Institutes of Health. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself and what he does before we get started. Matthew, thank you so much for being here. Say hello.
Hi, and it's good to see you, Kenyatta. Thanks for the invitation to come and chat with you.
Thank you
Um,
so much. I appreciate you being here. Dr. Fenton, why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and what is it that you do?
sure. As you said, I currently work at the National Institutes of Health, and the main goal of the National Institutes of Health is to support and fund biomedical research in the United States and all across the globe. And many people think of the NIH as being a place where we do laboratory research, but actually only about 10% of the activities at NIH involve research that's done on the campus. The majority of our role is to fund research at universities, medical schools, and research institutions. So
Okay.
my job is to spend money to support biomedical research, and that is taxpayer dollars. So this is your taxpayer dollar at work to support the discovery of new drugs, vaccines, and other therapeutics.
Interesting. Okay, very cool. Well, that was a lesson in itself right there. So I did not know that because I was thinking more of the research side, like just like you said, most of us think that, but that's not the case. Okay. All right, good to know. Well, so tell us a little bit about what it is that you are going to be offering through Dr. Wayne Weiner's Academy. I know you have courses and resources and a lot of information and things that you've done in the past that you'll be sharing through the Academy. So tell us a little bit about what you will be offering.
Well, the inspiration for this lecture series that I've prepared is really the result of a longstanding interest in how to educate the public on how to understand scientific information and medical information. And over the past few years, we are just in a situation where we're constantly immersed in data. We're immersed in information. We get it from our news sources. We get it from our social media. We're hearing all kinds of different things. And oftentimes we hear the same story being reported in very different ways, sometimes with very different conclusions. And as a scientist, I've been trained to generate and analyze and understand data. But many people in the general public don't have that advantage. They
No.
see an article, they see some numbers, they see a table or a graph, and they oftentimes just take the author's word on what it means and what conclusion they should take away.
Right.
What I'm trying to do in my lecture series is to help educate people to develop their own toolkit so they can look at data, they can look at that chart or graph or table, and they can make their own decisions of what it means, how they should interpret it, and what conclusions they should draw from it.
That's very powerful because it sounds like what you're doing is giving us the critical thinking skills to kind of take what we already know and then what we just learned from what we read, but then apply some tools to where we can really kind of make our own determination and make our own decision about what we think that data means. That's powerful because you're right. We do just get the numbers and we don't always know how to interpret it. So I love that.
And information just gets more complex over time. And with the speed at which news and information travel around the globe and travel through social media,
Mhm.
we are faced with an ever increasing challenge for how to sift through all that data, try to understand what are the most important elements, try to ask the question, what have I not been told? What's missing in this
Mm.
story that I'm reading? And as a scientist, I've been trained to ask those questions and look for those gaps. And I felt those skills would be very important to try to pass on to the public.
I think that's fantastic. I love, like you said, the question of what have I not been told as you're reading that. That's really powerful. So this is exciting. This sounds like a great lecture series that you have. And of all the places where you could offer this information, you've chosen to offer them through Dr. Wayne Weiner's Academy. So tell me, why are you offering them through his academy?
Well, two reasons. The first being that online learning is a very powerful tool. It provides a very high degree of accessibility and convenience for people. Classroom training and conferences and other forms of didactic learning can be very cumbersome and can be inconvenient. People aren't going to hop in their car or hop on an airplane to go take a course on how to understand data. Through online learning, anyone can sit down from the comfort of their home and their computer, and they can learn the information they need, and they can learn it at the pace that works for them.
Right. Right. I agree. Now that was the first reason. Was there a second reason?
Absolutely. I happen to have had the pleasure of knowing Dr. Weiner for many years, and I find him an outstanding and brilliant individual. And it's been a real honor and pleasure to be invited to participate in the Academy.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Fenton. And I got one last bonus question for you because that background you have is stunning. So would you please tell us for a moment, what are we looking at behind you?
Sure. This is actually a photograph I took myself last night.
Mhm.
And it's a photograph of an object called the Eastern Veil Nebula.
Mm.
And it's part of a larger complex nebula in the constellation of Cygnus the Swan.
Wow.
And these nebula are the glowing gases that are emitted by the remnants of dying stars and also by the areas of formation of new stars. So they're typically very red. And the photograph behind me is an image that I processed to pull out different colors of gas that emit different wavelengths of light. So it's not drowning in that red color that you'd see. If you were to look through a telescope and look at this, you'd see this red streak. But by using imaging and computers, I'm able to pull out the different colors that represent the different gases of the nebula.
Wow, it's beautiful. You did an excellent job with that photograph. So thank you for sharing that little bonus question, in there. So, Dr. Fenn, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for spending a few moments with me. I'm excited about your lecture series and excited that you're a part of Dr. Wayne Weiner's Academy. So I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye bye.